So the year was 2012. I sat there playing my grandfather's PlayStation 3 and came across a game I'd never heard of before called Journey. I played it, found it boring, and didn't try to complete it for that very reason. 2017 comes around and I'm at a friend's house who's bought the game, and then found myself in an ironic situation, giving Journey another go to relieve my boredom. Yeah, that's always funny to think about, especially taking into consideration what I'm now going to say. Journey is one of my personal favourite games of all time. It's funny how much you can change in 5 years. So here's the all-important questions I want to try and answer for you now, but keep in mind some things are easy to explain. Elements of the story are kept very vague, however, and it's all about piecing it together until it makes sense, kind of like the journey of life in general. In Journey, you play as a little creature or human who must make his or her way to a mountain, though this isn't really conveyed to you, apart from an establishing shot looking at a mountain, and there you go, off you trot. Now this leads into something that's either going to make you love the game or just be put off by it. Its lack of story and goal means that you'll never really know where you're going, and it comes down to just being there for the ride as opposed to having the story shoved right in your face. Sometimes this is a good thing in games, and other times it's handled poorly, but I think in Journey it's handled incredibly well, especially considering the runtime, which is only about 90 minutes. While that would be negative point to other games, I think that the runtime works perfectly with this game in what it's trying to make you think and feel. By the time the game's over, you really have pieced together your own story, and while I do think the developers had a particular story in mind for the game when they were making it, I think it comes off abstract enough to have a few interpretations of what you actually experienced, and that's why I believe the game is so good. Gameplay is fairly basic, like the story of a Michael Bay Transformers film. However, what separates Transformers and Journey in that aspect is that Journey is intentionally basic in its gameplay design, whereas Michael Bay looks like he's aiming for an Oscar with each installment, though failing miserably every single time. You can grind down the gameplay core of Journey into a few things: exploration, platforming, and some simple and basic puzzle solving, and that's about it. It's obvious from the first 10 minutes that the gameplay isn't the main thing, and while for me, for the most part, I dislike games that try and tell a story first and be a game second, I think some games pull it off incredibly well, and Journey is one of the exceptions. And while the gameplay is fairly basic, it doesn't mean it's any less fun. A particular scene had me sand surfing down this hill while I looked towards the sun and felt this sense of wonder and charm, something that keeps Journey unique despite essentially being a walking simulator, and we all know how many of those have been released in the last few years. When I'd finally made my way to the end of the game for that first time a year ago, I was left satisfied with a game that I thought was boring years back. The environmental storytelling was great, the colours also looked amazing. It seriously is one of the best looking games I've ever played and still holds up now, and that's all got to do with its art style. It's handled like a painter in his prime, creating something amazing while looking nonchalant about the whole thing. The world I experienced always left me excited for what I was going to see next. The gameplay is fun and floaty, but in a deliberate way. The music can be both grand and subtle when it wants to be, and probably stands as one of the best soundtracks of the last generation for me. Worth listening to if you find it on YouTube or come across it. There's no excuse to not listen to it, basically. If you like what you've seen in this video, and that'll tell you if you like the game. It's strange how you have to play it and go out and buy it to see what the game's all about, but just seeing a small video showing gameplay on YouTube will tell you if you like it. This game still holds up now, and it doesn't take a lot of searching on the internet to find its praises. It's considered by a lot of people to be one of the best games of all time, just maybe not in the way you think it will be. Give it a go. That's all I have left to say on the game. But have a good night or good day, and thanks for watching.